Okay, all right, guys. Today I'm going to do a test to my buyer and to Shopee as well, to Shopee agent. All right, because I'm going to raise a dispute on an order, um, because there's a claim from the buyer saying that when put in the toner, there's an error of 59.559.C0. All right. Based on my experience, okay, that error was due to the failure of one of the part. I wouldn't mention what is the name of the part because I don't think it is my responsibility to go until that. Whereby for further information you can check in Google. Alright, I believe you can check in Google and even you can check in HP website as well. There is a certain article mentioned that could be the what you call that the failure of the rotation of certain motors. I wouldn't go until further that. All right, but they also mentioned about asking what you call that, put in the toner one by one to test on that. It seems to be there is a toner issue, but to my experience, you can check even further, not only on me, not only based on my statement, you can check in Google as well. There's nothing to do with the toner. All right, as I mentioned, there's a part, but I wouldn't mention about the name of the part here. I wouldn't touch on that. My responsibility right now is to prove that it is not from the toner. At least it is not from the toner that I sold to the buyer. All right, it could have the possibility. All right, it could have the possibility. I wouldn't deny that. But based on my experience, so far there's no any incidents that I came across a lot of this error. 59.C0, but so far there's none of that coming from the toner. So that's the purpose of for me of taking this video to prove, all right, to prove to the buyer and to Shopee as well, there's nothing wrong with the toner. All right, and again, I would like to touch on a claim, like, you know, when the buyer do a test on maybe I think, if not mistaken, they try to remove the toner and put in the, I mean, they just activate the tone. They just turn on the what do you call that? They just activate or turn on the printer without putting the toner, and there's no such error coming out. Of course, I have to touch on that. One point is, there is I believe there is a possibility for you to have no such error coming out without putting in the toner, because that error only comes out when printer try to initialize, when printer is about to ready to print. All right, why I say so is because that part that I mentioned, that I wouldn't mention the name, when it fails, on certain scenario, it won't fail at all the time until until that what do you call that, that part has been filled for a long time. You know, it will gradually becomes stagnant. Means that initially it will be intermittent, but at the end of the day, at the end of the certain period, it will occur almost every time. So for that issue, you got to understand that even though if you put it in now, I mean, the failure of the part will not show at all the time. All right, and my statement is trying to say that, my statement is trying to emphasize that that part will only, that part will only turn up, that error will only turn up when printer is about to ready to print. So when you are not putting in all the toner, or you're putting only certain part of the toner, not the complete set of toner there, whether the toner is compatible or original, brand new original, as long as you do not put in all the toner, a complete set in the printer, even though you try to turn on the printer, it will not show the error because the printer is not ready to print. There's no initialization that being made. So when there's no initialize being made, the printer will not go until that part, and of course that signal, that error will not turn up. All right, so in short, I'm going to show you right now. First of all, I'm going to show you the, what do you call that, my printer performance first. The printer right now, the printer right now is a HP one. Another thing I would like to emphasize, I would like to raise your attention is, the printer that I'm using, alright, it uses the same cartridge, but the firmware is different. Alright, the firmware is different. So I might need to swap the chip, which means that I'm going to use the toner that returned from the buyer, alright, put into my printer, but I will use my own chipset. The reason is the model is different. Even though, because nowadays a lot of printers, alright, this information is not from my mouth. You can search in Google, if Shopee agent, if you try to dump on this Shopee agent, if you try to dump on this, I can provide you a lot of information in the Google until you wouldn't deny it. Alright? For Canon, even though you can search from some other merchant in your Shopee marketplace as well, you can look at the information. A lot of that, for Canon and HP, alright, they actually share a lot of cartridges. Alright, some they don't have it, they don't even need to change the chip, they can straight away interchange. But some they need to swap the chip, which means that they are using the same cartridge, the firmware is different, the model is different, but they can work by respective own chipset. For example, alright, I don't have to put an example over here, I can show you later on. Okay, so right now, first of all, I want to test the performance of my printer. I will show you that my printer, first of all, is a working condition printer. So right now you can see that I'm going to do a test with my printer. In fact, I got two similar printers. Yeah, I got two similar printers. If Shopee agent feel that I need to have two, I need to have show you further or more solid evidence, I can show you on both printers. Alright, so Shopee agent, please. Alright, I will show you right now. Later on, just a very short moment. Alright, there's nothing wrong. Okay, Shopee agent, there's nothing wrong. My tray is round of paper. I'm going to put in the paper now. Yeah, there's paper over here. Let me put in the paper. I will show you first of all, Shopee agent. I will show you. To be fair, I will show you from A to Z. I try to make it a A to Z. Alright, but if you feel like Shopee agent, if you feel like I'm not showing the A to Z, raise up which part that you need me to show you. I can do the video again. Alright, you can see there's a print over here. Okay, there's a print over here. Okay, good. My printer is in working condition. Alright, I wouldn't go until very detailed. I'm supposed to show you that all the papers I'm having here is not a pre-printed one. The one that, the image that the sample print, the test print, the window test print that you see is not a pre-printed one, alright? So, okay, this is a blank paper. These all are blank papers. Okay, to be fair, so right now I do again a test. As I mentioned, I try to do an A to Z. I try to cover as much as possible. I try to provide as much as possible to Shopee. So if you feel like any part of that you dump on that, raise up to me. I show to you. Alright? A test print of that. Good. So, right now, I'm going to open up the toner that I received from the return. Okay, let me put in my huge printer another one. aside first. Alright. Let me show you the parcel that I received. From here I can see I received 3 cartridges. Okay, I received 3 cartridges from this order ID. Yeah, from this order ID. So I received 3 cartridges that I'm going to put in one by one now. Okay, first of all, I received this is a cyan. Alright, again, I might need to swap the chip. As I mentioned, the one for this model, the chip firmware for this model is not applicable for my printer. But yeah, Shopee, don't doubt on that, because as I mentioned to you, if you need me to provide you a lot, you can even search on your own. The error, again, it's got nothing to do. You can check on Google. The error 59.C0 is not got nothing to do with the chipset, alright? So it got something to do with the rotation of the motor. But this is what I can say until now, but I don't want to go until which part that comes from that. Alright? Which is the motor that HP is referring to. You can check on HP website. So right now, okay, first of all, and another, I'm not trying to challenge, alright? I'm trying to bring up the fact. Alright, if it is the error from my toner, I'm happy, by all means, I'm happy to accept that. But I just want to prove that it is not. Okay? Again, 59.C0 is a very common error from HP, even though from Canon. They might have different code, but they difference to the same part, and it is a very common issue. I don't want to go until further because that's not my obligation to go until that. So I just want to show you that the printer is working. I mean, the toner is working. So this is the cyan that right now I'm going to put aside. Okay, it's good. You see, all the toner that I put inside my tray, I got a sticker on that, which is, you know, I tried not to mix up with some other toners. So I have all the toners. I put on all the labels over here. So you don't have to worry about the mix up, alright? So right now I'm going to remove my cyan. I put aside. I put in the cyan. The chip still using the original chip from the toner cartridge itself. I might change the tone. Magenta, I put aside. Okay, this is a magenta. And I remove my yellow. I hope the video will cover will have a very good coverage on the whole process. So I remove my yellow, the third one. I remove my yellow. Okay, so I put on the yellow. I put on the yellow. So right now I'm going to close the cover and everything. That might be an error because of the chipset issue, as I mentioned. So I try to, I'm not really sure whether it is compatible or not, but I try to put it in because I can't recall all the models. All right, I can't recall all the models. There are a lot of models. There are a few, not to say a few. There are a lot, in fact, even for HP itself and even for Canon itself. As I mentioned, some of them they can interchangeable. Some of them they can share the same cartridge, but they cannot share the same chipset. But again, the error of 59.C0 is totally got nothing to do with the chipset. Again, Shopee, if you need further information, you can search on Google. Okay, I tried to put in everything. Yeah, there's an error. There's an error because the what do you call that? The toner cannot be detected because it cannot be recognized because of the chip issue. So I'm going to change the chip later on. Alright, I can see over here from the panel. Alright, I can see over from the panel, the three colors, the cyan, magenta and yellow that I put it in is having error because of the chipset issue. So right now,